Hello everyone, we are Sharyu Fugare and Soham Bothe, and we are here to present our internship project for Webstack Academy titled Homely Hub, a full stack MERN application. During this presentation, I will walk you through the project overview, objectives, technical architecture, and the implementation details that went into building this project. After that, Soham will take over to give you a live demonstration of the working project, where he will show how each feature functions in real time. What is Homely Hub? So let's start with the overview. Homely Hub is a full stack property rental platform inspired by platforms like AirNub and the Booking.com. This goal is to allow users to browse, search, and book properties easily through a single online platform. The main focus of our current implementation is the user booking flow. That means user can register, log in, browse available properties and make bookings securely. But we have also designed the architecture in a scalable way, meaning in the future new modules can be added easily, such as a host dashboard where property owners can list and manage their properties. The entire system has been built from scratch using the MERN stack, which includes MongoDB, Express.js, React.js, and Node.js. Internship goals and objectives. The main goal of our internship was not just to build a working web app but to understand how real world full stack applications is developed from concept to deployment. Our objectives included first mastering full stack development. We wanted to move beyond a small individual components and learn to connect front end and back end database easily. Second, hands-on MERN experience. We focused on learning all four MERN technologies in depth and understanding how they are interact. Third, applying SDLC. We followed the software development life cycle starting from requirements gathering, designing architecture, implementing the code, and finally testing. Fourth, building a scalable project. Unlike a simple to-do or calculator app, Homely Hub is built with scalability and real-world use in mind. Fifth, learn core features of modern web apps. We explored a key concept like secure authentication, global state management, and a robust RESTful APIs. Core project requirements. To turn our goals into a real project, we defined five main functional requirements that guided our deployment process. First is a user authentication, a secure login, sign up, and logout system using JWT for maintaining user sessions. Second, property management, displaying a catalog of available properties with each property having a detailed view page. Third, booking system. Authenticated users can make booking, view past booking, and manage current ones. Fourth, user profile management. Each user has a profile page where they can update personal details. Fifth, payment integration. The application support integration with a secure payment gateway for completing transaction. These modules formed the core of our project and help us organize our project efficiently. System architecture, the MERN stack. To develop this project, we use the MERN stack, a popular JavaScript based full stack development framework. Let's look at how each part fits into the system architecture. On the front end, we used React.js to build the user interface. This is what users interact with directly, pages like homepage, property listing, and a booking forms. The backend is built using Node.js and Express.js. It handles all businesses logic, acts as the brain of application, managing APIs, data validation, and communication between the front end and database. The database layer uses MongoDB, where all data such as user information, property details, and the bookings are stored securely. The data flow works like this. When user perform an action, for example booking a property, on the React frontend it sends a request to the Express server. The server processes it, interact with MongoDB to fetch or update the data, and then send the response back to the frontend, which update the user interface accordingly. This makes the system fast, flexible, and scalable. Understanding the full stack MERN. Before moving further, let's briefly discuss what full stack and MERN stack mean. Full stack development means working on both the front end means client side and the back end means server side parts of a web application, essentially building the entire system end to end. The MERN stack is a specific set of technologies that helps achieve this. M stands for MongoDB, a NoSQL database for storing the data in JSON-like format. E stands for ExpressJS, a lightweight web framework for building APIs. R stands for React.js, a JavaScript library for building dynamic and reusable user interface. N stands for Node.js, a runtime environment that lets us execute JavaScript on the server. The key advantage of using MERN is that entire development process uses JavaScript from the front end to the back end. This consistency improves development speed and make it easier to maintain the project. Front-end implementation. Now let's move to the front-end implementation which we developed using React.js. React component architectures. We divide the UI into a small reusable components such as navbar, property card, booking form and the footer. This modular design helps maintain consistency and improve scalability. Then routing and navigation. We implemented the client server routing using React Router DOM. This allowed smooth navigation between pages like home, properties, bookings, and profile without page reloads, ensuring a fast single page app experience. Then state management. For handling global data like user login status, authentication tokens, and booking details, we use a Redux toolkit. It centralizes the state, simplifies the debugging, and improves the data consistency across components. API integration. We use the exhaust to send and receive API requests to the backend. For example, get API properties, fetch property data from MongoDB, post API booking, creates a new booking entry, post API auth login, validates user and retrieve the JWT tokens. Then UI styling. We style the front end using CSS3 and Bootstrap 5, ensuring the responsiveness and the cross devices compatibility. Components automatically adjust the mobile, tablet, and desktop screen size. Form handling and validation. Login, sign up, and booking forms include input validation to prevent the invalid data entries. Error message and the successive alerts are shown using the React for a polished user experience. Authentication flow. Once a user logs in, the frontend stores the JWT token in local storage and attach it to every future request header. Maintain the secure communication with the backend. Backend implementation. Now let's talk about the backend implementation, which powers all the core logic of Homely Hub platform. We built the backend using Node.js and ExpressJS, a lightweight and a fast framework for developing RESTful APIs. Here a breakdown of our backend structure and functionalities. First, server setup and routing. We created the modular routes for each functionality. First, API youth handles user login and registration. API properties handle property and data. API bookings manage the booking details. API user update and retrieve the user profile. Express router made it easy to organize endpoint and apply middleware selectively. Then second, database connection. We used MongoDB Atlas for secure and scalable data storage and Mongoose as the ODM means object data modeling tool. Our main collection includes user, store the login credentials and profile details, properties, store property info like name, location, rent and amenities. Then bookings, store the booking history and user references. Then third, data modeling and schemas. Each collection follows the defined schemas. This ensure the structured data even in NoSQL environment. Fourth, authentication and security. We implement JWT for authentication. When users log in, a token is generated and returned to the front end. Subsequent requests include this token, which is verified via middleware for secure access. Fifth, middleware uses. Auth middleware validates JWT tokens. Error handling middleware catches the exceptions and return the meaningful message. Then input validation middleware checks the data format before insertion. Password security user passwords are hashed using a bcrypt JS before being stored in MongoDB, ensuring the data confidentially. Then environment configuration. All sensitive details like database URLs, JWT secret keys, and API credentials are stored in a .env file to maintain the security and portability. Testing and debugging. We test the backend using Postman and verify all of CRUD operations and API responses before connecting it to the front end. This backend layer makes our application robust, secure, and reliable, ensuring the seamless data exchanges between the front end and database. To conclude, conclusion and learning. To conclude, our Homely Hub project gave us end-to-end experience in full stack development using MERN stack. Overall learning includes build a complete application using both front-end and back-end technologies, designing and implementing secure RESTful APIs, managing global state and handling asynchronous operation effectively, understanding the importance of scalability and clean architecture. We faced several challenges such as handling complex authentication, managing state efficiently, and debugging API errors. But solving these issues gave us the most valuable learning experience of all. As the future scope, we plan to first develop a host dashboard where property owners can list and manage properties. Second, add a user review and rating system to improve reliability. Third, deploy the project on cloud platform for real world accessibility. Overall, this internship was an incredible opportunity that enhanced our technical and teamwork skills, preparing us for our future careers as a full stack developer. Now, I had like to hand it over to Soham, who will give a live demonstration of Homely Hub and show how our system works in real time.
Thank you, Sharayu. My name is Sombote. To show you exactly how all the technologies and concepts we have discussed come together, I will now take you through the live demonstration, starting with the 28-day internship process that made this application possible. Let me take you through the live demonstration of our project. That concludes the overview of the project's architecture and my key learnings. Before I show you the final HomeLab application, I want to briefly show you how it was built. This project was the result of a structured 28-day internship plan provided by the Webstack Academy. My journey was broken down into 4 intensive weeks. In week 1, we started with the fundamentals. As you can see, we began with the basics of web development. From the internship kickoff, we dived straight into HTML, CSS, the CSS box model, and the foundation of JavaScript like operators and conditional statement. In week 2, we rapidly moved into modern web development. We covered advanced JavaScript, DOM manipulation, and most importantly, we were introduced to Merge Stack and React project structure. This is when we started building the first pieces of a home layer. You can see on day 12, state management use state. This was not just a theory. We directly applied it to build the header and search bar components managing their local state. In week 3, the focus shifted to architecture, design, and security. This is where the full stack came alive. We implemented React Router, set up the backend server with Node.js and Express, and introduced Redux for global statement management. You can see tasks like property slice and user slice, which are the brains of our Redux store. This was a critical step as it allowed disconnected components to share information like the user's login status. Finally, week 4 was about finalizing and deployment preparation. We connected all the pieces. We built the login and sign up actions, the profile page, and complete booking and payment flow. By day 28, we had a fully functional end-to-end merge stack application. The structured process allowed me to build the application. I will now demonstrate. Let's walk through the user flow of Homely Hub. This is the login page. This is a secure gateway to our application. This is a controlled React component. The form captures the user's email and password in its local state. When I click login, an API calls is made using Axios. This hits our /API /users /login endpoint on the Express server. This is where the backend implementation is critical. First, the server hashes the password I just entered using a library like bcrypt. It then compares that hash to the hash stored in our MongoDB database for this user. If the hash matches, the server generates a JSON Web Token JWT. This JWT is sent back to the React frontend. This is a key Redux action. The user slice receives this token and the Redux stores updates the global state. The application's auth status is now authenticated. This token is now securely attached to all the future API requests, proving who the user is. Once logged in, the user lands on our home page, which is the main property listing. The first thing you will notice is the grid of properties. Data is not static. When this page loads, a use effect hook in React triggers an asynchronous Redux thunk action. This action makes an API call to our backend using /API/properties, which queries the MongoDB database for all the properties and sends the data back to the frontend. The property slice in Redux catches this data and stores it in the global state, which allows any component to access this property list. The entire page demonstrates the React's reusable component model. We have a property list component. This component subscribes to the Redux store to get the list of properties. It then uses the JavaScript .map function to iterate over the data and render an individual property card component for each atom, like Munnar Farmhouse, Olive Inn, Sunny Side Up, etc. At the top, we have the search bar. This component allows the user to search by destination, select dates, and add guests. This information would use to trigger a new filtered API request demonstrating a dynamic user experience. Now, if user clicks on one of these properties, let's say SRS suits, React Router would navigate them to a detailed property page. On that page, they would see more images, a full description, and a booking weight. When they confirm their dates and click book, they are taken to payment page. Let's say start date of 9th of November, end will be 16th of November. Number of guests will be 4. Okay, at least 3. Okay, number of guests will be 3. Name, phone number, book this place, proceed for payment, confirm. Yes. On the back end, this booking process is a great example of data integrity. Our Mongo schemas for booking would require valid user ID and proper ID. This ensures we can't create orphaned bookings and our database stays clean. And finally, the user can navigate to their user profile page. This page immediately greets Welcome Soham. This isn't just a static text. The component accesses the global Redux store to get the user object. This is why Redux is so powerful The user logged in one page and now completely different component on another page. This dashboard is a perfect example of a CRUD operations. Create, read, update and delete. The My Booking tab would make an API call to fetch all bookings associated with this user ID. This is a read operation. The Edit Profile button would allow them to change their name. This triggers an update or put request to our backend to update the user's document in MongoDB. My Accommodation tab is for create operation where host could list a new property, and if user cancel a booking, that would be a delete operation. As you can see, these elements all work together to create a single, cohesive, and robust full stack application. This 28-day internship was an incredible hands-on journey that took me from the fundamentals of HTML to designing, building, and demonstrating a complete MERN stack project. Okay, thank you. I would now be happy to answer any questions.